dear friends, partners, and viewers from around the world. Today we gather to commemorate the victim of October 7 massacre. This event stands as one of the most significant tragedies in modern history, comparable to the Holocaust. It is crucial to acknowledge that during this tragedy, Hamas was accused of committing war crimes by intentionally targeting civilians while using their own civilians as shields. Unfortunately, this led to a global increase of anti-Semitic sentiment attacks against Jewish communities, with some individual groups and people celebrating those actions, which made all the situation much more terrible for us. We come together to pay our respect to innocent victims and to call for a world where such atrocities are never repeated. We are here today, while Hamas still has in Gaza 240 hostages, including children, elderly people, women and men. And until they are all released, no ceasefire or humanitarian pause will be accepted. Our broadcast is live on Zoom, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. A full recording will be available on the Combat Antisemitism Movement website and social media channels. On October 7, Hamas coordinated an attack on Israel by infiltrating the southern communities. With 3,000 terrorists, they went community by community and murdered everyone on their way. More than 1,400 people were murdered in less than 24 hours. To start today, I will ask everyone at home, in your offices, or anywhere, to stand up for a moment of silence, to remember all the victims of the massacre in October 7. Thank you. Joining us are family members of 3 victims from different regions, symbolizing all Israeli families who have suffered the loss of a loved one. We have Adar Elion. She's a sister of Shira Elion, who was murdered at the Nova Music Festival in Reim. On Saturday, October 7, Shira was dancing with her childhood friends. Then she was murdered. Shira was only 23 years old. Adar, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
I would love if you can tell us a little bit more about your sister.
Of course. Shira was very, very gentle, very kind, very quiet, but very mature. She never had to scream her opinion to be strong or to be heard. She never had to do it. She was very kind, she was vegan, and she loved animals. We used to volunteer together in an animal shelter. And she was so special. She loved to travel. She just came back from India and Sinai. And she was supposed to start university at Ben Gurion, a degree in psychology. And I know that she would have been an amazing therapist because all she wanted to do is just spread her kindness, and she was so smart. And at Friday night, she and her 2 best friends went to the party. Her and Amit, they know each other from when they were 3. They always been together, and they also murdered together. They found their body next to each other after 5 days of being missing. And May, it's the third friend, she survived it after got shot in the legs and pretended to be dead. Yeah.
And she could tell the story of what happened?
No, apparently, she told us that once the shooting was started, first of all, there was bombing over there. Shira called my dad at 7 a.m., telling him that she's fine, but she's too scared to drive. So she's gonna wait for a few minutes till everything will calm down, then she's gonna go straight home. She was in the middle of a panic attack. May told me that her and a few friends hide behind some iron garbage, and they heard shooting come near them. So they spread. Everybody ran for a different direction, and that was the last time May saw Amit and Shira. Another friend told me that him and Amit and Shira were running away from terrorists holding a shotgun, and he just ran faster than them, so he didn't saw what happened. He heard Amit shouting, but he couldn't finish the story. And a few days ago, my parents learned from one security guy that found Shira's and Amit's body that at around 2 p.m., he found two girls lying next to each other. Shira was still alive, but dying. She couldn't talk because they shot her in the throat. So he lifted her and he tried to take her for someplace safe. And he put her on the ground. He hid her. But then there was shooting again, so he ran away. And only a few days after, he came back to try to find her body. It took 5 days to recognize her. At the beginning, we thought she died at the very beginning, so she didn't get a chance to be scared, and she didn't run away, and she didn't hide, but he proved us wrong. So now I'm heartbroken knowing that I don't know how much time she was lying over there until she was actually dead. I don't know what she felt, if she was scared, if she knew she's gonna die. I don't know. It's breaking my heart to think about it.
Thank you for telling that. What do you think she's leaving behind her to the world? What is her legacy that you're gonna see after her?
I feel like Shira's job, she always spread light everywhere. Right now, I always picture her as a fairy. And I feel like her job was to always unite everybody. She united her friends, she united her family, and sadly, in her death, and the other kids in this party who died in their death, they united us. We were very divided before that. And I feel like we can't forget this. We can't have short memory about it. Once this war will end, we can't go back. It will be a crime. It will be like they're dying all over again. And I feel like right now, the trust towards the government is broken. And we maybe won't be able to fully recover from this ever. But we have each other. We're, as a people, as a country, we're very united right now, so I hope it will stay.
I think it's not just the country, but also the Jewish communities around the world standing up.
Yeah, the Jewish community is amazing.
And we need that. What are you going to miss the most about your sister?
She was so special and so smart and so independent and mature, like way more than her age, way more than me. And she was my friend, and she just got to the age when she finally can be more than just my little sister. She finally can be my friend, and I was very excited about it, to see what woman she'll become. And I'm so sad that I won't be able to see it. It's like somebody took her away from me. They took the chance of us being together. And they stole, I feel like they stole my entire family happiness. So I'm gonna miss her. Not just as my little sister, but also as a friend that I need to consult with and I need to talk with. And
thank you. So thank you, Adar, for sharing the story of your sister and her legacy.
Thank you.
So hopefully your message of unity will go on and the support of each other. I would like to move to David Bar, who is the brother-in-law of Naomi Sheritz. She was murdered near the community of Yad Mordechai on October 7. Naomi went for the usual run with her friends, and rockets began to fail, rocket fire by Hamas toward Israel, while the infiltration happened. She tried to find a shelter to protect herself. While searching for a safe place, Hamas terrorists find her and murder her. David, if you can tell us more about your sister-in-law, please.
Naomi, I've known for over 40 years, since I met my wife. She was the second youngest of 10 siblings, but she had the motor to unite the family. She was born in Nativot and married a Sderot boy and lived in Sderot, but carried on working in Nativot for 25 years. She was a dental medical secretary. And for the last 8 years, she became part of Keep Fit within the area of the south of Israel, Nativot, Sderot. She would have been 53 this week. And the loss is terrible. It's the way it happened and how it happened. It's hard for us. We knew already that she'd gone out, well, I suspected. I live on kibbutz Halumim, which is between Be'eri and Kfar Aza. So we were under attack. And I mentioned to my wife, I said, wait a minute, what about Naomi? She normally goes out on Saturday morning for a run. And my wife wanted to feel, oh, she'll be okay. We always felt she could look after herself because that's what she was like. She was always worrying about everybody else, making sure everybody else is happy, always putting her troubles aside. She had this smile, which south of Israel used to call it, the smile of the south of Israel. And by 12 o'clock, I asked my wife to start phoning her brothers and sisters.
And you were in Alumim at the time.
We were in
with
Alumim,
rocket alerts and mortars fired.
Rocket alerts and terrorist infiltration. So we were actually in the bomb-proof room. And Naomi was one of our worries. I have 2 other families in the area of our own children. But I knew she always ran around the area of Sderot, Yad Mordechai, and then we saw the pictures of the terrorists already in Sderot, 7:15 in the morning. So we put 2 and 2 together. At 12 o'clock, we were beginning to get messages from her family that it doesn't look good. There's no contact with her anymore. And then we had that period of, well, kidnapped or killed, or both. By Saturday night, we had received information that confirming, not officially, her death. That she'd been shot between Yad Mordechai and Netiv Asara. They went for a run there. They started their run. The rockets came over. They hid behind, I know exactly where, behind a cement wall. And then they must have seen, because one of the runners who she was with survived, and he actually described everything. They saw hundreds of terrorists coming in on the back of, how he says, like cars from the UN, those open cars, hundreds of terrorists, and he couldn't believe his eyes. Soldiers came to help them. Some of them were killed as well. As the terrorists approached, they shot one of her friend, Kobi, and he was killed instantly. And then, as we were described, she was shot in the back and shot in the head from point-blank range, cold-blooded murder. And they thought they'd also killed her running partner. Somehow he survived as more troops came to try to get them out. It took 4 days for us to get identification of the body, because more and more bodies were being taken to the central place for the gathering of those who had been murdered. And those were 4 days of anguish, awful, absolutely awful. At the same time, we were also evacuated, and we couldn't leave the area with the rest of our kibbutz. We had to stay quite close. But on the Wednesday morning, we were told that her body had been identified via the DNA, and she was brought to rest in Sderot, a very quick funeral, which she didn't deserve. And under fire, we had to bury her. Just 3 beautiful children, 26, 23, and 19. And a husband, and she'll be sorely missed.
Thank you for sharing, David. Thank you very much. I'd like to move on to Galit Lapidot. And before we're going to hear your story, Galit, we have a video to share about the story of the person that you represent. So if we can play the video.